A very good evening and a warm welcome to UBC News Tonight. It is the first day of April 2021. Let's take a look at the headlines. Ugandans urged to emulate Jesus Christ as Holy Thursday is marked. Chief Justice holds first meeting with JLOS officials, hails them for a job well done. Transporters decry low passenger turn-up as Easter travels reduce. And former SC Villa and Cranes winger Sula Kato in dire need of medical help. A warm welcome once again to UBC News Tonight. It's the first day of April 2021. I'm Lauryn, Masika, Kazimoto, and on sign language we have Elizabeth Nakakoni. Now we start off this news bulletin with the Archbishop of Kampala Diocese, Dr. Cyprian Kizito Luanga, has challenged Ugandans to emulate Jesus Christ, who sacrificed his life for man's deeds, and even forgive those who trespassed against him. Luanga, who was presiding over Holy Thursday prayers at Lubaga Cathedral, reiterated the need for dialogue and reconciliation as the only means to heal the country's current wounds.
Holy Thursday is possibly one of the most important and profound days of celebration in the Catholic Church, where the institution of the Eucharist as the true body and blood of Jesus Christ and the institution of the sacrament of the priesthood are celebrated. It is on this day during the Last Supper that Jesus Christ offered himself as the Passover sacrifice. Around the world, bishops and priests come together at their local cathedrals on Holy Thursday morning to celebrate the institution of priesthood. During the Mass, the bishop blesses the oil of chrism that will be used for baptism, confirmation, and anointing of the sick or dying. At Lubaga Cathedral, tens of seminarians and priests who attended this Mass were urged to serve the Lord and humans with compassion, justice, and affection.
Okuweereza eyo bigo okwagala okulemberemu n'abo betuweereza nabo naddala basaserdoti bannaffe tukole nabo mu kwagala.
Twewala okukoppa obukopi eri abalala bye bakola. Kireese okutabula abakristo abamu ate n'abalala. So we know what the Catholic Church teaches, we know its doctrine, let us follow that.
As Ugandans usher in Easter, Archbishop Luanga suggests that emulating Jesus Christ, who stood all the tests of evil, should be key.
Okwagala kwalibadde ku masiga asatu. Dialogue. Purpose on dialogue. Atina ndagade tugire ddala mu maka. Ekimu ku binamala domestic violence. Okolanga waliwo empuliziganya, ate empuliziganya ennungi ku lego yaki y'amaka. Ku kabondo kisomesa ku parish level bibere byabufuzi. Dialogue yeetaagisa.
Lwanga also hailed the gesture of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who recently intervened between the two candidates for the speakership position.
Tubaza President yasiikanye Kadaga ne munne obadde bakayanne ennaku zino. Senga kibeerawo ne ku birala ndowooza kyalikoze ki kyalibadde kituyamba ne wabeerawo empuliziganya ku njuyi zonna.
Holy Thursday will be followed by Good Friday, also known as the Way of the Holy Cross, a day Jesus Christ was crucified. Due to COVID-19 standard operating procedures, the Way of the Cross this year will be marked at a few designated churches. The procession at Lubaga Cathedral in Kampala will commence at 2 p.m, followed by liturgy at 3 p.m. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.
The Chief of Justice of Uganda, Alfonso Winyidolo, has called for respect of human rights, which he says is a non-negotiable right in a democratic country like Uganda. Mr. Dolo communicated this during his first-time engagement with officials from the Justice, Law and Order sector since his appointment as Chief Justice of Uganda. The function was at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala.
For the first time, Chief Justice of Uganda, Alfonso Winyidolo, also chairing as the chairperson of Justice Land Order sector, has met the leadership of the institutions of JEROS and heads of mission of JEROS development partners at the function which was held at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala. It was during this meeting that the Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo recommended the input to the Justice Land Order sector towards people's access to justice, especially during COVID-19 pandemic.
These include, but not limited to, the following: fighting case backlog. This is an endemic problem which we have to confront, and I should report that part of our effort at fighting and ameliorating the problem of case backlog is the enhancement of human resource, judicial human resource in the judiciary.
Chief Justice did not forget the need to increase on High Court circuits in different parts of the country, which he says this will help to increase people's access to justice.
For our people to truly access justice, we must, as a bare minimum, have a chief magistrate in every district. Within this, if this is achieved, it will be a game changer. People should be able to access justice within a stone's throw away from their location. The Honorable Minister of Justice is by my side, fully by my side. If we achieve this, will make a lot of difference.
Doro, however, called for respect to human rights in the country and also used this opportunity to call for increase in manpower to the judiciary.
All these other things we talk about, access to justice and so on and so forth, are part of human rights. Some of them are non-derogable, some of them are not in the same category, but still respect for human rights is the basis for a democratic dispensation. It's non-negotiable. We also would like to increase on the numbers of High Court circuits. Right now we have about 20. We think it should be increased to more. And we desire to have the Court of Appeal, which hears matters that come from, except for constitutional matters that come on appeal from the High Court, located up country.
Justice Land Order sector was initiated with the need to make easy access to justice, the rule of land, the observation of human rights. This now attracted different dignitaries, including the Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera, the Principal Judge Dr. Flaviana Njeize, Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs Ephraim Kamonto, the Director of Public Prosecution, Minister of Justice and Internal Affairs General Jodong, Commissioner of Prisons, among others. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
The National Resistance Movement has summoned the newly elected members of Parliament on the party ticket for a 3-week-long retreat at the National Leadership Institute at Chankwanzi. The retreat will, however, exclude incumbent NRM MPs, including the Speaker and her deputy, whose interest in the speakership of the 11th Parliament is suspected to be among the other key issues to be discussed at the retreat. But the Deputy Secretary General of the ruling NRM, Richard Todwong, while addressing the press at the party headquarters in Kampala, denied the speakership issue taking center stage at the retreat. Philip Aguta with the story.
Starting from next week, on 7th April, the newly elected members of Parliament on an NRM ticket will turn up for accreditation at Kololo ceremonial grounds before setting off to Chankwanzi for a retreat with President Museveni as one of the facilitators.
The core objective for the organizing the leadership retreat is to ideologically reorient the national resistance movement leadership to enable them refocus on the socio-economic transformation of Uganda within the broader context of the survival of the African race given the current global pressures and challenges. It will also be an opportunity for the members of Parliament elect to blend and bond together, which are essential ingredients for promoting unity in diversity and, most importantly, cohesion in the next Parliament.
Although NRM will have 337 MPs in the 11th Parliament, but those incumbent ones have been excluded from attending the retreat. That means the Speaker and her deputy will also not be part of that retreat.
Parliamentary sessions are going on. We wouldn't like to interrupt Parliament program, and especially this particular period, they are very busy with the budget framework papers and passing the budget. So the current members of Parliament who have been re-elected and are in the current House will not be allowed to report for this retreat. Therefore, the leadership retreat is targeting to host a total of 243 members of Parliament. These 200 members of Parliament are elected on NRM ticket and 43 members of Parliament elected on independent ticket but NRM leaning.
However, on Tuesday, the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Litwala Kadaga, faulted the invitation of the newly elected NRM MPs to Chankwanzi before being sworn in, saying that any decision, resolution or vote taken at Chankwanzi has no jurisdiction on the business of Parliament. NRM Deputy Secretary General Richard Todwong, during a media briefing at party offices in Kampala, denied that retreat discussing hotly contested speakership position between Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga and her deputy Jacob Olanya to be among the issues that the retreat will focus on.
Definitely there will be a speaker in the 11th Parliament. The speaker shall be elected by members of Parliament at the right time. So let's wait for that right time. When the members elect the speaker, you'll know who the speaker will be. The retreat is not about the election of the speaker of the 11th Parliament.
According to Todwong, the independent MPs who are NRM leaning have also been cleared to attend that retreat.
The 11th Parliament will also have a total of 61 independent members of Parliament who are NRM leaning, who are expected to endorse a memorandum of understanding of cooperation with the National Resistance Movement. This will provide the National Resistance Movement Parliamentary Caucus with a membership of 398 members of Parliament in the 11th Parliament.
However, the party has also set tough guidelines on COVID-19 for the MPs before setting off for the retreat. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kampala.
The Uganda People's Defence Forces has dismissed as false a slew of allegations carried as truth by the Daily Monitor, a local publication. Now, the publication, under the headline "Storm Erupts Over Army Sacco Money," alleged that the army had forced officers to save with the entity, plus asking them to buy shares. It was also said that the SACCO leadership had mooted a plan to transfer money of dead members and deserters to the pool instead of the families. Now, the chief executive officer of Wazalendo Sacco, Colonel Joseph Onata, says all these allegations by the paper are mere distortions intended to malice their good image. Samuel Senano with the details.
The Uganda People's Defence Forces maintains that there is no storm brewing in the Army Sacco, as alleged by a local daily. The Army Sacco leadership refuted these allegations while meeting journalists at the Uganda Media Center. According to Colonel Joseph Onata, the Chief Executive Officer of Wazalendo Sacco, the entity operates in full observation of the guiding principles of cooperatives.
Principle number 1 of cooperatives says that membership to any Sacco should be open and voluntary. Our members voluntarily join the Sacco and buy the shares, in which each member determines how many shares to buy, provided that not a single member buys more than 1/3 of the shares of the society. And this is also in compliance with Section 14 of the Cooperative Societies Act and Article 12 of our bylaws. Regarding the money that is said to be transferred, probably to be eaten, I don't know. This money, we have been holding it for over 15 years. And now, there has been a change in legislation. We have held this money together for 15 years. And continually, every year, we declare this money to our members of the AGM, and every month we report this money to our board.
He adds that the resolution to create a special reserve fund to hold money for the dead and deserted members was agreed upon by the top management.
Had been discussed in our regional meetings prior to AGM, because in our structure we have what we call pre-AGM, whereby the board and management get these proposals and all the highlights of the performance of the year prior to the AGM and go around all over the country and meet our delegates in designated places where we are supposed to hold meetings to them, explain to them the highlights of the year, the performance of the year, and what we intend to do in the next year, and agree on them, such that when we come to the AGM, we simply come and get resolution that helps us to operate.
The publication also alleged that the Army Sacco members had illegally overstayed in office upon expiry of their term, something Onata also clarified on.
The government of the Republic of Uganda announced a lockdown, partial lockdown. On 23rd, I think 20th, there was a total lockdown in this country, and automatically meetings were restricted to between 5 to 20 members. Wazalendo Sacco AGM brings over 400 delegates, 400. And so we could not pick which 5 to sit with. In any case, the decision which would be taken by 5 would not be representative enough. Hope that by that time, March next year, everybody probably will have been vaccinated, and maybe by that time even the treatment, generally the conditions, the SOPs will have been relaxed, such that we are able to hold an AGM of more than 400 people and hold an election to have new members of the board.
According to the UPDF, 15-year-old Wazalendo is the biggest Sacco in the country and the 6th in Africa in terms of membership, with 80,198 members as at 31st December 2020. The Sacco also has a loan portfolio of 388 billion and 530 billion in total assets. Samuel Senono, UBC News.
The Public Accountants Examination Board has released the March 2021 Certified Public Accountants of Uganda examination diet, with female candidates topping their male counterparts. Out of the 1,646 candidates who passed, 51.6% were female, while 48.4% were male. At least 3,180 candidates attempted the examination, half of whom passed, and at least 136 of them qualified as certified public accountants of Uganda.
I declare the CPA March 2021 examination that results released.
COVID-19 has affected a number of sectors, including education segment. Candidates that were preparing for the public accounts examinations of Uganda were, for example, among those affected, with a number of them not writing their exams as per the calendar. However, Public Accountants Examination Board organized a special exam for those who were not able to make it in December 2020 due to the disruptions occasioned by COVID-19, including the lockdown.
Last year, because of COVID, we were not able to have the 3 days we usually have in a year. So we had only one diet, which was in December. But even then, the students were fewer than normal. So the examinations board decided to have 4 diets this year to enable the students catch up.
At least 3,180 candidates managed to sit their public accountants